Welcome back, thrill seekers. Fasten your seatbelts as we take a dark detour down the twisted roads of rideshares, unmasking spine-chilling Uber and Lyft horror stories. Are you ready for the ride? There's something about the city at night that's unspoken, undefined. As the darkness engulfs the towering structures, secrets seep out from the shadows, threading a cobweb of fear in the hearts of the fearless. That night, my cell vibrated, my thumb flicking over the notification. Your ride is here, the screen flashed with the icon of Lyft, a popular rideshare app. Sighing, I exited my friend's apartment complex, my heart heavy with the weight of the broken evening. The light banter turned sour. I spotted the car, a black 2013 Ford Fusion, parked under the feeble light of a flickering street lamp. The driver peered through the windshield, his face obscured by the glare of the headlights. With a shaky hand, I tugged the back door open and slid in. The air felt denser inside, like the kind you feel in an old, undisturbed room. "Hey," I mumbled, my voice barely louder than the soft purr of the engine. The driver nodded, his face still hidden in the dark. He drove with measured precision, each turn and halt eerily precise, like a mechanical maneuver. His silence was unsettling, amplified by the radio's soft static crackle. His face remained unreadable in the rearview mirror. With my anxiety peaking, I checked the Lyft app. "You are on your way to." But instead of my home address, there were symbols, glyphs that made no sense, their shapes twisting and turning, writhing like serpents on the screen. I think there's a mistake with the ride," I said, voice shaky, showing the screen to the driver. He took a swift glance. Then he laughed. It was a deep, hollow sound that echoed through the vehicle, chilling my bones. "No mistake," he said, the words slithering from his lips like vipers. As the city's familiarity faded, we veered onto a long, winding road, lined with trees that blotted out the night sky. My heartbeat echoed in my ears. The driver's face was still an enigma, but his eyes in the rearview mirror, oh God, those eyes, they glowed, a deep, infernal red. Suddenly, the car accelerated, barreling down the road, trees whizzing by in an obscure blur. I fumbled with the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. I was trapped. The car screeched to a stop in front of an ominous, dilapidated mansion, the surrounding trees casting horrifying shapes against its facades. The glyphs on my phone started to rearrange, morphing into words, "You have arrived." The driver turned around, his face now visible, grotesquely warped, twisted into a malicious grin. "Enjoy your stay," he croaked, his voice a death rattle in the chilling silence. I don't remember how I escaped, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm still in that cursed car, stuck in that never-ending night, recounting this tale in an attempt to keep my sanity. Or perhaps I'm a wandering spirit, trapped between reality and the abyss, my warning echoing through the digital ether. That night, the city revealed one of its secrets. And now, every time I see a black Ford Fusion under a flickering street lamp, my heart misses a beat, and I can't help but shudder. After all, who knows what secrets the night holds? I was on the graveyard shift at the old Sinclair station when I realized my truck had given up the ghost. Dead as roadkill. It was way past midnight and the moon was grinning down like a rotten jack-o'-lantern. With no other option, I grudgingly downloaded the Uber app, ordered a ride home. A '67 Chevy Impala pulled up, matte black and more beast than machine. The driver, a hulking figure named Creed, was a grotesque patchwork of man and nightmare, tattoos of ancient symbols slithering up his neck, creeping onto his face. "Evenin'," Creed grunted, his voice gravelly, like tires crunching over a dirt road. Silence hung heavy as we hit the road. I took a swig from my flask, the liquor a cheap reassurance in the belly of this beastly ride. I looked at my phone, expecting the comforting glow of the app. Instead, it was the face of a leering skull, the screen filled with archaic symbols that shifted and changed. Suddenly, the app's soothing voice, usually used for directions, rasped out a chilling phrase, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." I shot a questioning look at Creed, his massive silhouette barely fitting in the driver's seat. He didn't answer, just grunted and pressed harder on the gas, the Impala roaring like a feral animal. As the city lights faded in the rearview mirror, a desolate landscape took its place, desecrated buildings standing as haunting tombstones under a blood-red sky. My skin crawled as I watched Creed in the mirror. His eyes began to glow, a demonic orange, casting an unholy light on his inked face. I tried the door, but the handle was molten hot, searing my palm. I was trapped. The Impala continued on, its monstrous growl echoing through the wasteland. We stopped at what looked like a derelict carnival, an abominable place where joy had been swallowed by despair. The laughter of children was replaced with the shrill cries of lost souls. The merry-go-round creaked ominously in the wind, the skeletal horses bucking in an eternal, gruesome ride. My phone screen flickered, the skull grinned wider, "Welcome to your destination." As I looked at Creed, his human form melted away, revealing a terrifying beast of nightmares, a hellish concoction of sinew and scale. "Welcome home," he growled, the Impala's headlights casting horrifying shadows on his monstrous form. Ever since that night, I've been a resident of this cursed carnival, my days filled with grotesque sideshows, my nights echoing with the beastly roars of the Impala. Creed prowls the desolate highways, his hellish ride waiting to ensnare another weary soul looking for a way home. Remember my tale when you hail a ride in the dead of night. You might be stepping into more than just a car. You might be stepping into your own private hell. As a private investigator, I'm no stranger to the peculiar. But nothing prepared me for that haunting midnight ride. Exhausted from a drawn-out surveillance case, I hailed a Lyft. The driver, Jake, arrived promptly in a gleaming black 2020 Ford Fusion. "Late night, huh?" Jake's voice held a disconcerting lilt, a melody that sent goosebumps prickling down my spine. His face was shrouded in shadow, his eyes two glinting orbs reflecting the city's sickly neon glow. I gave a noncommittal grunt, sinking into the back seat. The car was impeccably clean, its leather seats unusually cold. A faintly acidic odor filled the air, like battery acid and rusted metal. As we pulled away from the curb, the city's urban landscape warped eerily, buildings bending, streets twisting like a nightmare projected onto the canvas of reality. Jake, too, started to transform. His seemingly human shape contorted, his features sharpening into something monstrous. "Where are we going, Jake?" My voice was a mere whisper, my throat choked with terror. "We're already here," he answered cryptically, his voice a harmonious blend of 100 whispered threats. The Lyft Loft app displayed a bizarre message, "All roads lead here." Where was here? A chill ran down my spine as I saw our destination, a sprawling, Gothic edifice that reeked of despair and decay. The Ford Fusion transformed into a grotesque carriage drawn by hellish horses, their eyes fiery pits of malevolence. Jake's form rippled, his face a contorted mask of depravity, his body shrouded in tattered robes. "Welcome," he growled, a voice filled with unspeakable horror. Since that night, I've been trapped in this monstrous mansion, lost within its labyrinthine hallways, haunted by the echo of Jake's laughter. The mansion is alive, its walls breathing, whispering secrets of torment and despair. And Jake? He's returned to the city, his Ford Fusion prowling the midnight streets, ready to ensnare another unsuspecting passenger. In my office, my unattended files gather dust, and the surveillance photos turn yellow with age. I've traded the gritty realism of private investigation for the visceral horrors of this grotesque reality, a horror show with no end in sight. And so, I share my tale, a sinister caution for those seduced by the convenience of rideshares in the dead of night. Beware, for you might find yourself transported not to your desired location, but to a realm of unspeakable horror, hosted by the monstrous likes of Jake.